Double puppet. I was moving my mouth, Rhett.
Yeah, well, but we were both going like this.
Oh yeah. I don't know how I made that.
You ended up doing the thing the puppeteer was doing.
Yeah, I thought these. When you do your hands, that was me doing my hand. That's wrong.
Yeah, right. That makes the arms move.
Well, I'm proud to say that I don't know the mechanics of marionetting.
I also don't know who the marionette is. Is that the puppet or the puppeteer?
So I was right. Link is Rhett's marionette.
So we were right. Okay, let's talk about what it was like.
It's our wheel. We can do it any way we want to do it.
Let's talk about what it was like inside the chamber because
there were no cameras or audio in there.
Right. On the video, you got a little bit of the debriefing process, but the mindset, what happens to your mind and your body inside that thing, I think is worth just talking about at let's just kind of go there because it was an experience that's very difficult to put into words or just encapsulate in a little sentence. Experiencing nothing is really something. I think that is what he should have on a T-shirt, first of all. Shouldn't be prepare to evolve. It should be
I don't think that was his T-shirt, by the way.
It's really something.
Was it?
Ed, you can have that slogan because I don't plan to go into this business.
But we are thinking about building one. That was the first thing we talked about afterwards.
Yeah.
But hold on. So let's go. You can share about your experience in the box, as I call it, first before me. But I will say, I was legitimately nervous. I am not claustrophobic. I know that there's plenty of people who are. Christy, my wife, tends to think that she's claustrophobic.
I thought you said Christy, my wife, Cindy. Like, oh, you got a wife? Okay. So when she's your wife, she's Cindy.
Christy, a.k.a. my wife, Cindy. No, Christy tends to believe that she is claustrophobic, so she would never get...
So she's not really. She just.
I'm saying I don't know if she is.
Ooh, interesting. Cindy's claustrophobic. Chrissy's not.
She would not get in there because it is an enclosed environment where you can't see. I know Ben wouldn't get in one of these things either because he says that he's claustrophobic. He says that he is. Yeah. I have a general skepticism of anyone who says they're claustrophobic.
But one thing to note about that for all you claustrophobes is you can just push the door open. That gave me a lot of comfort. There was no lock. There's no lock on the outside. That would be dumb, first of all, think about that. And it's a very light door. It's just like, you just open it up. So anyway.
But you weren't apprehensive. You were just excited.
I was excited. I thought it would be cool.
So
and it was.
I couldn't believe you fit. Because right when you get in, you lay down and you start floating immediately because it's such a briny solution. But you would drift and my foot would hit or my hand would hit and I would have to slowly push off.
It isn't that I didn't
center myself to where nothing will be touching the side of the box.
Right. So I'd say the thing is probably 8 feet long based on how I fit in there, meaning that I fit in there. And I wasn't just a couple of inches from the side.
You weren't in the fetal position
I was completely
sleeping on a twin bed or something.
I got in and I sat down and as soon as I leaned back, the thing I noticed is that, boy, I'm floating. I'm and I've never been to the Dead Sea or anything like that where you can literally float in a very salty sea. Some people.
What have you? Stevie's look at me, I have. She's over here.
And so I don't know what it's like to.
Did you back float on the Dead Sea?
Yeah, I did the whole mud cover.
See, I know about these things. I've been on the internet.
And then it really hurts. It hurts. Everything.
Really?
It's
the mud.
So salty. No, not the mud. Any kind of cut or if you have dry skin.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know if you may have seen this on GMM's, but I've had a wound right here where I burnt my hand on a campfire and it was open. I had an open wound in the. Sorry, Ed. Yeah, it burned like Hades. Yeah. But after
it's good burn. It's good for it, healing it.
And it made it difficult to relax, which I did eventually anyway. So you get in there and you're you push off to the side and you slowly drift to the middle where you're not touching anything, right?
I got in and I leaned back and I was like, okay, where are the edges? Oh, there's an edge. My right toe hit the edge. I'm not quite far enough back. So I was like, but the water is so calm. Let me just push off just a little bit. And I literally just a little minor push with the toe. And it was 7 seconds later, doink, hit my head on the other side. It was that
doink
slow that
is the sound your head makes.
Doink. Yeah. And I was like, well, okay. And it didn't hurt. It was just like, doink. It was more of a dunk. And then I was like, okay, let me come back this way a little bit. And after that, I never hit the side again because you kind of just settle in the middle.
Now, the next thing is, it truly is absolutely lightless. I mean, my eyes were wide open, yet I would forget that they were open.
No difference at all.
Closed open, you couldn't tell.
But I closed mine because it closed is more relaxing.
I left mine open for, I'd say, the first 5 minutes or so.
And also, if you happen to get your face into the salty water, you want your eyes closed, you know. But very, very soon, like 5 to 7 minutes in, I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to enjoy this whole hour. I feel like I might be able to go to sleep. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like,
yeah.
And that's a weird feeling to have while floating in water.
Well, at first for me, it was, okay, I'm actually starting to really relax, and my head would go back further and sink into the water, and the water level would come right up, when I fully relaxed my head, would come right up to the edge of my eyes, the way that my head is built. So I was afraid that the salt water was going to get in my eyes and burn. It didn't until the very end, but I did notice that I was like, and I was just like laying there like dead man. Well, I was floating on my back, so it wasn't a dead man.
Right,
float.
and mine was a good inch from the side. I never felt any, like, this is not a concern. I'm not worried about this stuff getting in my eyes.
Then the next thing for me, before I really tried to relax, when my eyes were still open, I started to try to imagine that I was floating in space, like Sandra Bullock. And I could really have this sensation of, my brain could easily convince myself that I was like floating in space, like rotating. I did experience a little bit of that.
That's interesting.
Like a feeling of rotation and disorientation in that way.
You tried to, or you?
I tried to. Like, my eyes were open, and I was imagining as if I were an astronaut in space. But then I started to get very relaxed and sleepy, and I started to doze off, and that's when I would like realize that I would like, my leg was shaking, I'd wake up, or my arm would shake, or
Well, the thing that
I was like, I'm falling asleep. That's how relaxed I am.
I did that thing where I was like, I want to make sure that I'm completely relaxed. So I'm going to think about a muscle group, and I'm going to isolate that muscle group, and then make sure it's relaxed.
That's a yoga technique.
Yeah, sometimes you don't realize that you've got tension somewhere. And there was a point at which I was like, okay, legs are relaxed, arms are relaxed. And then I got to my neck and shoulders, and I was like, they're not completely relaxed. And there was a moment where it was like a release. And at that point, I was like, I'm totally relaxed. And then the second thing that happened is I have restless leg syndrome, right? So anytime I'm laying down to try to take a nap or go to sleep, I have to move my legs around. And this isn't the thing. If you have restless leg syndrome, you know what it is. It's not the thing where you want to constantly bob your foot up and down. It's a very different sensation. It's like I have to physically move my legs just for a second, and it gets better. I'm not talking about nervous energy. I'm talking about restless leg syndrome.
So get off it. Nervous energy people who are claiming to have restless leg syndrome.
Every time you talk about restless leg syndrome, people are like, oh, I've got that. I have to like bob. Every time I'm sitting there like studying, my knee is just going up and down. No, different phenomenon, guys. Anyway, I'm inside the tank, and I think I don't feel the sensation of restless legs at all on any leg, and usually it's concentrated on one leg. I was like, this is strange. I've never just fallen to sleep without moving at all. And then the next thing I know, I think I just woke up. I don't know how long I've been in here. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I started seeing the faces.
Were your eyes open when you saw the faces that you're making up about?
I'm not making anything up. They would come from the side, and they would settle in front of me, and then they would move on. And then I opened my eyes, and it was continued to happen. Because it's in my brain, man. Or was it?
Oh, it was in your brain. Who are these faces? If I brought a sketch artist in here, give me that level of detail.
The more I've thought about it, the more I realized that the faces were the kinds of faces that you see on playing cards of kings and queens. And I think it's because I said I wanted to see
Night.
a night, and I don't think that's in the video edit. But one of the things I did say is that I wanted to see a knight. No, I wanted to be a knight. I wanted to like go into Narnia. Like this might be the closest I ever get to going to Narnia. I've always, I read those books and I was like, I want to go to Narnia. I want to go through the back of the closet and end up in another world and be a king.
It was a wardrobe.
Well, I'm using the American version of the word. So then when I'm in the sensory deprivation tank, I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll go to Narnia in here. Maybe this is my Narnia. And I think the closest I got to Narnia was seeing playing cards be presented to me and then moved along.
Well, maybe you were dreaming.
Awesome.
Maybe you were dreaming it.
No, it was I was very awake. You didn't see them?
No.
You thought you were Sandra Bullock. I mean, everybody's got their own thing. I thought I was seeing playing cards. You thought you were Sandra Bullock.
Well, maybe
to each his own.
Maybe I just wasn't looking in the right place. I mean, once they went over here, I never looked over there to see if they came back.
To be ready. But I did think when the music started playing, not the music, but he makes the waves crashing noise. I thought, man, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to come out. I could be in here another couple hours, easily, because
I had to get out because at the very end, I was so relaxed that my head went to the side, and when my head went to the side, my left eye filled up with salt water.
But you know what the problem is?
Burnt.
You know why that happened?
My head's not symmetrical.
Your head's not symmetrical. That's why
the left side's heavier.
You have a heavy side. It's got to be what it is. Maybe it's the way you part your hair. I mean, because my hair
this way.
Yeah.
Well, I should have gone to the right.
I know, but for some reason,
my hair was all going back.
My hair is totally symmetrical. So I was like, in a complete relaxation. There was no head turning. That was, I mean, you might need to see somebody about that. You might need to have your whole head x-rayed. You might have like a big piece of bone on one side or something that needs to be taken out.
You're going to say like a growth, like a cancer. That's horrible, man.
But I didn't. You said that. I want to go back and I want to go in belly first.
I'm going to hold my breath for 60 minutes.
No, with a straw.
Drink some salt water the whole time?
No, with a straw. Air straw.
That's called a snorkel.
I want to go in with a snorkel. And a mask. So
Dead man float.
Dead man's float with a snorkel?
Ooh, that's...
What's wrong with that?
It seems scary. I'm not going to do that.
It's actually what you do when you snorkel.
It is, yes, but you're not sleeping.
With your asymmetrical head, you'll be turning that snorkel right into the water and sucking down salt water. It's Epsom salt.
So I would recommend it. You know how much he charges?
Yeah, it's $50 for an hour.
$50 for an hour.
Yeah.
And there was a woman who he gave her a deal, and she slept in there all night.
I don't know. I mean, I would do that.
$50 for an hour.
But you said online there's kits for building them yourself.
Yeah, there's a link on your thing if you want to.
I'm gonna do.
There's a link on our thing. What thing?
I'm on the computer. On the outline. Hey,
on my email? Well, they don't have access to my email. We're gonna put it in the description.
Here's the deal, though.
No, we won't. We'll forget. Will you forget?
I don't remember.
To what? What is the link to?
It's to DIY making your own.
If you want to make your own sleep deprivation
tank,
we can't help you.
I can create one of those, just with a jam box.
Description.
Or a tent if you go camping with me.
Yeah.